Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Strong and Bold. My name is Fortina, and today we are going to talk about the cost of saying yes. In a previous video before, I spoke about the cost of saying no. Today, I'm going to talk about saying yes. It requires a lot of self sacrifice for a yes, because I believe my yes is connected to somebody else's yes, and it could be connected to somebody's destination and destiny, right? So for me personally, there have been so many circumstances that I have said yes. And that one time, I went to the market on Saturday morning, and then I bought what I needed to buy. And then I had God telling me, give that person $50. And I didn't have money, I didn't have cash. So I saw the lady walking. I quickly ran to the ATM, got the $50, and then ran behind her. Like she was really going fast. And when I reached to her, I said, excuse me, ma'am, I just want to give you this. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm going to check why my card was declined. And mind you, I didn't even know that her card had been declined. So I saw her putting some things down, and then she walked off from that store. So it seems like maybe at that moment the card wasn't working. I don't know the issue. So I said, yeah. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm going to check what's the issue with the card. I'm like, no, it's okay. I strongly feel in my heart that I should give you this money. And she said, no. And I said, I felt God is telling me to give you this money. So then I understood why. But before that time, I didn't even understand why. I didn't, like, why would I be running behind a total stranger saying, get this money, right? Um, another episode where another space where I've said yes. It's I was driving and I felt like I should park, and I didn't even need to buy anything this time, right? There was someone who appeared to be homeless, and I said, would you like something to eat? They wanted to, like, do you have cash or do you have that? I said, no, I don't have cash, but I can buy you whatever you need to eat. So I took him to the next store, and I bought him something to eat. And it wasn't like, I said, like, look, you can choose whatever and how many things you want to buy. It's okay. He's like, I'll get this. And I think he only got like two things. And I'm like, look, I am willing to buy you if you want to eat all the, like, anyway, I'm exaggerating, but whatever food you want to eat, I'm willing. So he got that, and I said, God bless you. And when I was in my car, I felt that person was going to get close to God. I felt, I just said, God bless you. God sees you, and I understand. I might not understand everything, but I see where you are, but God knows you and He sees you. And that's why I'm here today, to give you the little I have to support you. So yes, I did that. And there was another instance. I was coming from the train, and there were kids who were asking, do you have coins? Do you have coins? I'm like, no, I don't have coins, but I can buy you guys meals. So I brought them to the shop near me, and I got them meals. And I asked them, where do you stay? They said they live in this area, and it's like similar to the area I have, but you remember they're people's kids, so I can say, hey, come, I'll give you a lift, right? Anyway, that's the end of the story. But what has touched me is that every time I offer to buy meals for them, they only choose like one soft drink and one something to eat. They don't grab like as much as they want, you know. And I'm like, look, you can also buy for your siblings, for your friends. I'm happy, but they're not greedy. That's what I've seen for myself, right? But also the circumstances that make people homeless or even have nothing to eat, there's a lot. There's a lot, especially in this economy. All of us are struggling, and I'm sure, like, most of us are struggling. One paying job can't sustain a whole family. Yeah. So I strongly feel, instead of us fighting immigration and all this and migrants, we should look really into this, like food crisis. Like food used to be affordable, now it's expensive. Like even like a small barbecue sauce which used to be like $3, now it's $7. While the big barbecue which used to be $7, they don't even sell them anymore. So I feel like we are directing our anger and our frustrations to the wrong people, or the wrong side of the coin, right? Anyway, I'm not here to be an activist. I'm here to talk about saying yes to God. So I'll say those are some kind of easy or hard yeses, because some instance, yes, I have budgeted that money to do other things, and there's some instances, yeah. Anyway, so at the end of the day, you just say yes. And I just feel like one yes leads to another, right? There's an instance, I gave somebody a lift and then we spoke a little bit. It seems like I can drive my knowledge and information from the space I worked prior, and I think I gave that example in the previous videos. And in this space, I went and did a bit of shopping, and I'm planning to see them and say hi to them and visit them, because that's how culturally we are. If someone is new, you don't know them, you want to see them, you do a little bit of shopping, you share a meal, something like that, something little. And in saying that yes, and also like that money, I had also budgeted for something else. Like literally, my mom, yes, I do have a mom, African parents. However old you get, you still have African parents, and you're still scared. You're not scared, like you're still obedient, like a 12-year-old. Like she literally sent me to the shops this afternoon. Like I'm like, what now? I'm like, yeah, I went to buy canned beef. She makes this whole meal with canned beef. It's amazing. Anyway, so I went to buy canned beef. I needed to buy 2 canned beefs. And then as soon as I go to the shop, I had, get this juice, get this, get that, get this, get that. I'm like, okay, I got that. And then I had like, yeah, give it to them this day or whatever. Anyway, so all I'm saying is like that obedience leads to something else. Sometimes like we don't know what somebody is facing or what someone is struggling with. So most of the time we could be in a space where we need to share something. So this thing happened a while ago. I think it's a bit over a year now. I was in a particular shop. I had buy this watch. And then, mind you, it was a male's watch. I wasn't seeing anybody. I wasn't even intending to see somebody. Fast forward. I gave that watch to my partner. Yeah. Like when we met, literally months later. So, okay, now I have to tell you this other story too. So, last year on my birthday, I got a bottle of Moet and Chandon. And then I was excited. I wanted to pop the bottle. Anyway, so I had, no, you share to someone special. And then my aunt came to visit us, and then I had give it to your auntie, and then I had give her copies of your book, and then I gave it to my auntie, and then someone from that camp said the bottle, I had that bottle. And then I remember it was like in December, God told me, you share it with someone special. And I was like, wow, I am amazed. So sometimes we might not see just a little obedience, what we'll do, but also remember, delayed obedience is disobedience, right? And there's so many other situations where God tells you to leave a job, a well-paying job, and then you need to go to volunteer. Pastor Stephanie Ike spoke about this, right? And I didn't understand that. But last year, I went through a similar situation. I was in this government job. I was like my dream career in a way. I was getting a big check. And then guess what? I had to leave that. I became like, I worked in aged care, similar role as a cleaner. I got paid like $30 less than I was earning. I was like, what's going on? And I stewarded. And then sometimes I was like, I feel like I'm not using my skills. And then that same Wednesday, I went to this training. I met my coordinator. She referred me to this job. It was an amazing environment. It was an amazing work. It was something I never thought I could do. I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And then the call happened again. I needed to take a break. I needed to write a book. I needed, oh man. Sometimes saying yes, it's hard. You might not understand why, but obedience is always like, and remember some of these things, like they also come with financial hardships. Like if you come from a paying job that is like this, and then you get to a job like this, you need to alter your life expenses and things like that. And that's one of those examples. Was like this year, I couldn't even buy myself new things. Like I couldn't buy myself shoes, clothes, or anything. I was like, no, I can't. But I was telling my sister, if I can't buy myself, you can buy it for me. And mind you, this is the year I have done the most like traveled internationally, like the most. All the other times I was like, locally, I don't like flying. But last year, God was telling me you're going to fly. I was meant to go to 5 countries this year. I only went to 3, so I'm waiting for those 2. I feel it's not too late yet. There's still hope. I'm kidding. I don't know. Anyway, I just felt this year I was going to go to 5 countries, but so far I've done 3. Yeah. Yeah, so the year I have been the most broke. And then this the year I've been able to afford these flights. Don't ask me how. Anyway. So I'll say it's God's grace. I'll say it's God's grace. So moving forward, so like saying no to the jobs. In one of those seasons after I left a particular job, I got a contract, independent contract. It could have been a dream job. And then I just said no. And that would have been the most, the most money I could have ever earned as an employee, as a worker, as a practitioner. But I had to say no to that job. And I was like, why? Why? I need this money. There's so many things I want to do with it. Remember. But it wasn't the right space. It wasn't the right environment. Probably God knew why I couldn't work there. I just feel like sometimes stepping in purpose, it means saying no to some things. Like this year, I haven't been socially out as I used to be. Not like I was doing anything wrong, but sometimes I get ready and I feel like you can't go here. You can't do this. You can't hang with these people. Like it just happens. And sometimes you just don't understand why. But sometimes God knows why. So the cost of yes is also expensive. It's actually very, very expensive. And I feel that's why most of us don't want to like be strong in faith, like take a leap of faith, because we don't understand like what is required of us and what's on the other side. We don't know, you know. God can tell you like move from your house and go to this whole state or go to this whole country. You don't know anybody. You don't have a job. How do you do that? But also I have come to learn from all the other preachers and pastors what they say. God will never tell you to like do a huge thing without doing the small thing. Even for me, it started like from like slowing down on friendships, food, like even before like food, like the seasons I had like I can't drink for 3 months. I'm not an alcoholic, but sometimes I like a glass of wine, a sweet wine, especially like a sweet red, right? And I had like, you can't drink for 3 months. I wasn't drinking for 3 months. And even before that, it came like with diet, right? There's a period of my life I couldn't eat seafood for 2 years. I couldn't eat seafood. I couldn't eat pork. I didn't understand why. But now, of course, I can eat pork. I can eat seafood. But that's how I'll say, back in 2022, that's when it started. I can't eat seafood. I can't eat this. And there was nothing wrong. I was eating these things before. And then come gradually to the point of like I couldn't even eat cake. You know, if anybody knows me, they know I have a sweet tooth, and dessert is my specialty. Like dessert is my it is for me, right? Like give me a cake anytime, give me a cookie anytime. That is my weakness, right? Used to be my weakness until I got delivered. So there's a time I couldn't eat sweets. I couldn't, yeah. So, and the funny thing, this year when I went to do my general checkup once a year, my doctor was like, yeah, your cholesterol has gone down. It used to be a bit up, but now it's like on the normal side now. I was like, oh wow. So not eating cake has helped. Because generally I'm a healthy person, but you know, sometimes when you just eat like baked goods used to be my weakness, like meat pie, all these things. Now I find myself like I do eat them sometimes, but I'm more like meals, like rather than baked goods. Baked goods used to be my weakness, like meat pie anytime. That is what I used to love, right? Yeah, chapati mandas, everything made with flour was my weakness. So this year, yeah, I cut out of some of sugar. I need some more sugar in my tea, but I'm also working on that. So that is the cost of saying yes. You need to stop your expectations. You need to drop how you think things are going to work out, and just learn to trust on God's timing. And especially like sometimes, you know, we are all human beings and we can all be prideful. When I feel like my patience has been cultivated, like, oh my goodness, guys, I told you before, like patience wasn't my thing. Like I want something and I want it right now. I'll do left, right, and center to just do what I need to do, right? Or achieve what I need to achieve. But then I learned to slow down. The first time God gave me a big shift in my career, I was home for like 1 month, and then I got a job. The second time, like 6 months. 6 months, I was like, what am I going to eat? But in that time, is when I have traveled the most. And I've been paying my tickets and everything, right? Yeah, so I feel like God will make a way also in a way, yeah? And then the other thing is that even when it comes to somebody you need to partner with, to marry or work in relationship with, it is hard because we all have like our idea of somebody. What if God tells you your spouse like 20 years older than you, 10 years older than you, somebody you never even thought you could meet on this world? Your hearts could never like cross paths together, and then all of a sudden it happens. So I remember talking to my friend, and she's like, no, not that tribe, not that person, that is not my person. And I'm like, girl, you know, when you tell God what you want 6-pack, light skin, tall, dark, and handsome, and then God's like, I'm gonna give you exact opposite, but they are going to have the heart for you. That also happens. So sometimes we need to say no to our preference and accept God's guidance. And sometimes it will not start with the butterflies, excitement, but as time goes on, you fall in love with this individual, you fall in love with this person, you get to see the wonders of the world, like of the wonders of the world with someone. You get to see the wonders of God in somebody. Like I strongly believe like the person who is for you is for you. And I remember a long time ago, I used to ask all my mid-aged friends. They were married for like 35 years, 40 years. So that's what I used to ask, yeah, because we were all from the church. And then I'm like, how did you know this person was the one? Like, how did you know? Like, for me, I was like, Everybody I met that time was like, ooh, there's something missing here. I don't know. I don't see it. And then it came like when you meet the person, you will know. Like you literally know they're the one. Even if it takes some time to adjust because of different personalities, lifestyles, and all these things, you will know. And all I can urge you is that, my brothers and sisters, please do not settle. Do not settle. Because the person that God has for you will blow your mind. Like, will blow your mind. That Bible verse that says he will do beyond what was the word again? Exceedingly beyond and above. He literally does. He literally surprises you. Surprises you from not settling down. I remember a long time ago, I had to make that promise to myself, but also to the practitioner who supported me at that particular moment. She told me, please promise me you will never settle. And I said, I will never settle. At that time, she was going through like separation from her marriage. When we met, she was happily married and all these things, and then life happened. So, and then in that moment, it's like, yeah, so she was an amazing person. She was an amazing person. So, Renee, wherever you are, if you ever get to hear this, just know lots of love. And I made it to the other side. I'm still growing. I'm still improving. I'm still developing, but I did not settle. So, my lovelies, like, I know the cost of yes. Like, you need to sometimes need to change a whole career. Like be a mother to different people, different children. Like, you have to grow. Like, God, when he calls you to some places, he equips you with the wisdom and the knowledge and the resources for that space, right? Just say yes. And as hard as it is, like as Jonah also, it was difficult for him to go to Nineveh. He had to go, right? So sometimes it needs to, like, if you study like maybe medicine, you need to study to be a teacher. I also went through a career change. My bachelor's was in international tourism and travel management, and that was it for me. Like, I wanted to be a destination manager, destination marketer. I felt that I still loved people. And then I had to change a whole career to become a social worker, to become a human services enthusiast. So it's not an easy task. It requires time. It might require upskill. It might require sacrifice. Like, you might have to give your possessions. I don't know what God requires of you, but at the end of the day, the yes will be worth it. I promise you, the yes will be worth it. Like right now, I'll say yes before I had a bit more money, and right now I will say I'm kind of broke, but I'm happier. I can sleep. Well, before I was so anxious. I was like always on the edge. Like, you lose some things to gain some things, but the kingdom of God will always provide for its people, and that's why God says, seek first the kingdom of God, and every single thing will be added. So yes, my lovelies, that's the cost of saying yes. So if God is telling you to do something, pray about it, get confirmation, and ask other people, God is telling me this, is it true? And God is not a God of confusion, right? So stay blessed, and we'll see each other in another episode of Strong and Bold. Bye.